Hi, welcome to my Makeup Monday for Monday the 25th of August 2025. My name's Denise McCabe and I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Australia on the New South Wales Central Coast, so welcome. Now I've pre-recorded my Makeup Monday this week because my husband and I have got to go and see our accountant and financial planner. You know, it's tax time, so we've got to go and sort those sorts of things out. So we've actually gone down to North Sydney to do that. So yeah, I knew I wouldn't be back in time, so I had to pre-record. So I hope that's okay. So today I'm going to use some product that is new to me, but it came out last Christmas, and I didn't get it. And I've been watching to see if there was going to be a really nice religious stamp set in this mini catalogue that's coming out. And I didn't like the one that's in the catalogue, so I decided to get the one that came out last year. So it's new, but Rosie's just decided she might want to go out, so I'll deal with her in a minute. It's new to me, but it has been around for a year. I'm using some DSP that's been around for a while and has carried over, and it's a little bit of a technique. It's not a fold today, it's a little bit of a technique. So let's go down to the craft desk and get started. Okay, so I've got a piece of grid paper on my glass mat. One, it stops the glare, and two, it's going to be needed for blending. So let's have a look. This stamp set is called, I'll move over. No, it's called Shepherd's Care. And as I said, it came out last Christmas, but I didn't get it. And I started supplying a little shop up the road. It's got a whole lot of local businesses in it. And I started supplying them with cards. And the first thing they asked from me was religious Christmas cards. And I didn't really have any religious stamp sets. I had one from a few years ago, so I pulled that one out and did some. And I used that, and I sort of just used that one for last year, and I thought, look, I want to get a good one this year. And anyway, I went back to this that was released last year. Now, it is a cling rubber set, so it's going to be, you know, one that'll be remembered because they are discontinuing cling rubber. There will be cling red rubber stamps in the mini catalogue that comes out in September. And they will be the last lot that will be released. So from the November online exclusive range, there'll be no more red rubber stamps. They'll all be photopolymer. So yeah, this one will be a, you know, one for the history books. But I do really like it. The only thing that really annoys me is that Counselor has one L, and we spell it with a double L. And that is a bit annoying. But I guess that's not a big thing, but it just annoys me. But anyway, I'll get over it. So this is what we're going to use, and we're also going to use the Thoughtful Journey Designer Series paper. So the stamp set and dies have been put over onto the last chance product list, and I think they are low inventory, but the paper has carried over and is in the online exclusive. This is beautiful scenery paper, and you can do so many things with it. And I always say, let our Designer Series paper do all the work for you, because our papers are so beautiful. So I had a little bit of a play, and I can't claim this idea. I saw France Martin, American demonstrator, but she's French-Canadian. She did this last year, and I saw her YouTube video, and I thought, that is so cool. I have to try that. So she's just used a piece of the Thoughtful Journey paper, and we did some blending, heat embossed a star, stamped a shepherd and his lambs, fussy cut him out. Simple, really simple card. And then I just splattered it with some Wink of Stella. I don't know if you can see the splatter, but I can. And I used the good old basic rhinestones. They're just beautiful things to have. I hope they never discontinue them because they're so cool. I'll tell you why they're cool. Then I went on and kept playing. So I got one of my sketches out, and I did like a strip down here, and this is the Season of Elegance Designer Series paper. It's a specialty paper. I matted it onto some gold foil. I used a textured note die for the shepherd and for the sentiment. And these are rhinestones that I coloured with Dark Daffodil Delight blend. Once again, you can't get rid of rhinestones. They're just too great. So that's another really simple card using this stamp set. And I love the little Bethlehem scene. It's really quite cute. It's very little, but I love it. This is only the beginnings of my playing. This is another one I did. Again, using the Seasons of Elegance Designer Series paper. This is the Pretty Peacock one. This paper is... What do I do with it? Is it in the online store or in the catalogue? I'm not sure. It's in the online exclusive range. I carried over, and it's specialty paper, and you've got basic beige and gold, cherry cobbler and gold, mossy meadow and old olive, and you've got pretty peacock, and it's just beautiful paper. So one side's got the gold foiling in it, and the other side is just sort of like your B side is like a matte finish. Love this paper. This is really good for Christmas because it gives you quite a few colour selections for your cards, so you can sort of do the same card but choose a different colour for each style of card. Do you know what I mean by that? Now this die is really interesting. This is also in the online exclusive range, and they're called Foiled Frames and Labels Ephemera Pack. How cool is that die? And I've just heat embossed the shepherd and the sheep with the gold embossing powder and Versamark ink. I've used this this sentiment from a new one that's coming in the September catalogue called Peace on Earth. I thought that went really well. So these are the the foiled frames and labels. Put them in a stamp case up the back here. So these are what you get. They all pop out, and there's another little edge of gold foiling that you can use as well. So obviously that's the one I used on this card. Great for quick and easy cards. I think I'll be using a few of these for Christmas. So they're the gold foil. Let me see how many you get. You get 6 sheets. So you get 6 sheets, but there's quite a few on each sheet, so I can't count that up quickly for you. It's too hard. So that's from the online exclusive range, available now. So this is the one we're going to kind of recreate. Now, as I said, any scenery paper will work for this. So the Thoughtful Journey. There's also the what's it called? The Bokeh Designer Series paper. That would work. Go through your retired papers and have a look. The Meandering Meadow was a scenery paper pack, so there could be pieces in that you could use. There was also another one a few years ago, and I can't remember what it was called, but it was beautiful. And the Winter Meadow 12 by 12 Designer Series paper, I think that would also have paper in it that would work with this technique. So go through your papers, do a scurriage through your papers and see what will work. So this one, I used this piece of paper, but the blending sort of muted it down. For today's card, I'm going to use this piece. So it's got Blackberry Bliss in it, Misty Moonlight, it's got a few bits and pieces in it. So let's put that to one side. So all I've got is a standard A5 card base, or A2 card base, and I've done it as a tent fold card because I am rather partial to the tent fold cards. They're the ones I like the best, I think. But I know some of my ladies that come to class like the book fold, so I tend to prep my classes for book folds, but I don't mind a tent fold. I like the way they stand. And then I have... Oh, my Rosie's gone back to her bed, so she's happy. Then I've got a piece of matching cardstock in Blackberry Bliss, 10 centimetres by 14.4. And then I've got a piece of the Designer Series paper, 9.5 centimetres by 13.9. So as you can see, it's a super simple card. And then I've got some scraps here that I'll be doing my stamping on. So the first thing we're going to do is get our embossing buddy out and just go over our paper, because we are going to emboss, what am I doing? This star from the stamp set up in the corner, like I've done on my sample card. So let's just ink up our beautiful big star for the shepherd to follow. I know some people don't like really religious stamps for Christmas, but you know, it is what the meaning of Christmas is all about, isn't it? So I'm just going to stamp that down. Just press it down. And this is a distinctive stamp, a red rubber distinctive stamp. So they're really nice. I know they've done a few photopolymers in red rubber distinctive, and they've come out quite well. So I hope they'll be still able to do distinctive stamps. So I've just put my white embossing powder onto my Versamark star, and we're going to heat emboss that. So let me just put this back into its little container. So this is the heat embossing toolkit. It's really, really good. If you don't have one and you do a lot of heat embossing, you have to get one of these in your stash. It's so good. It comes with the tray, the brush, the tweezers, and the embossing buddy. And it's $47. Must have it in your stash. Must have. Okay, I'm just checking that I'm recording, seeing that I don't record very often now. I normally go live. So I'm just going to get my heat tool. So this will be a little bit noisy, so I apologise for that. I'm going to heat it up first before I hit the star to emboss it. That's it. That's all we need to do. Put that up there. So, and that's our beautiful star embossed on our piece of Thoughtful Journey paper. So let me put this all back under my little shelf. Now we're going to get Misty Moonlight and my navy brush, or my blues. You can't even see it because it's faded so bad. And that's why I've got a piece of paper, because I don't want to do it onto my glass mat. I want the paper. So I'm just going to ink up my blue brush. I'm just going to start off the paper here and come on. So just, this is going to give my muscles, my arm a workout, because I am going to do it quite heavy. We're making it like the nighttime sky as the shepherd's walking towards Bethlehem. So just bear with me while I get the ink on. Just go gently, because you don't want to scuff up your paper and have it all cobbled. So I'm going to go all the way around, like I've done on my sample. I've sort of inked up all the way around the paper. Need muscle for this. And Denise doesn't have muscles. Not to worry. I think it's a bit late for me to get muscles now. Although I do reformer Pilates, and that does require a fair bit of upper body strength when you're doing the upper body exercises. Okay, you can see I've just I'm putting colour onto that. I'm sort of leaving this a little bit light, because that's the star shining to me to show the shepherd where to go. Does that make sense? So let's just put a little bit more up here.
We'll have a nearly 1-year-old for Christmas this year. That'll be exciting. She'll be 2 weeks after Christmas, so it'll be so exciting. Have a little tot running around. Well, she probably will be running around. She's nearly crawling. Okay, let me just go back down here. And I have got a little bit of a blob there, but I don't think it really matters because it just sort of blends in. Okay, I think I'm happy with that. And I will get my tissue and just rub any blue ink that's on my white embossed star off so it shines brightly. Okay, so we shall put that to one side and that over there. We don't need that. Okay. So that's going to go onto our Blackberry Bliss piece of cardstock, like so, and then it's going to go onto our white card base. So when you're making Christmas cards, if you're making a stack of them, it's good to get a design and then just bang them out like a mass production. It's always good to do that instead of trying to do a different card for everybody that you send a card to, unless you like doing that. But I always sort of try to choose a style or 2 styles of cards, and then I can just bang them out like mass production, and I find that's the easiest way for me to do my Christmas cards. Now, this is our piece of cardstock for our shepherd. So as you can see, it's beautiful stamp, and I'm going to stamp him in basic grey. I just think that's a little bit softer than the Memento. Okay, so let's just stamp him down. There we go. Look at that distinctive stamp. Isn't it just gorgeous? So I do have a few distinctive stamps that are in photopolymer, a couple that have been made, and I was surprised how well they worked. So let's hope that they will continue to be able to make them, because I do love a distinctive stamp. Okay, so now I am going to bring in, this is my half-dead collection of blends. So I want light crumb cake, that's that. And I think I did balmy blue on this. I think there's still enough blue in this piece of paper for me to do balmy blue again. So I'm going to do the same colours. On this one I coloured his, I don't know what you call that. What do you call the thing they wear on their head? It's not really a veil, is it? I did that in Daffodil Delight because it kind of went with the gold, and I just put the little cherry cobbler bands around it and around his waist. Okay, so we've got light crumb cake, and I'm just going to colour his headgear. There we go. Then I can't get into trouble for calling it the wrong thing. So whenever I've got a stamping blend that is half dead, or one of them's dead and I have to buy a new pair of blends, I chuck it into that basket, and then they're the ones I use when I'm just at my craft desk. But most of my customers now have their own blends, so I'm not going through them quite as quickly as I was. Thank goodness, because they're not cheap. They are very much a consumable. Okay, so that's his, it's not a cape. I don't know what you call it. This is light balmy blue, and I know this paper doesn't have balmy blue in it. It had boho blue, but that has retired. So I could do pool party, but I like the balmy blue, so I'm going to go with balmy blue. Is that enough? Yeah. Okay. So have a look when you get the catalogue that comes out on September 3rd if you want one, let me know. I can certainly get one in the mail to you or drop it off. Have a look at the religious one in the front of the catalogue and tell me if you like it. Some people might, and that's perfectly fine. It's just, it just didn't do it for me. I wanted something a little bit different. So that's why I went back to last year's and bought this, because it was still available in the online store. So that's good. That's what's good about the online store. Things carry over, and you know, quite often they're still there 12 months later. So I'm just gonna, there we go. I think that looks really good. Now there are no dies to this stamp set, so sadly you're going to have to watch me fussy cut. So I do apologise for that, but hopefully we can get round him. He's not a hard one to fussy cut. So let's just do that. So yeah, sorry I had to pre-record, but hey, isn't it good that we can do that? And I used to always pre-record my Makeup Mondays until recently. You guys seem to like it live, so I started doing them live. There we go. But sometimes pre-recording is good when you've got like an appointment, or if you know, if I'm going to be away on holidays or anything like that, I will tend to pre-record my videos, just so you've still got some content coming up, having a look at products that are available. It won't be long. I don't want to rush too much because then I'll mess it up. Sometimes I do have to sort of reposition my scissors, so. But I try not to. There we go. Not quite. Ta-da! Okay, so there's our little shepherd coloured with crumb cake. I'll move them down. Crumb cake and balmy blue. So let's start constructing our card. I'm going to put this onto our Blackberry Bliss. And it's just, when I saw Frenchie do this, I saw her video, I thought, how cool is that? Using our beautiful paper. I think I'm getting to the end of my Tombow. So I'm just going to mount it. Using our beautiful papers, and all our papers are so stunning. Most of them you can just whack a sentiment on them and bobsy do. You've got a beautiful card. Okay. Oh look, I just dragged my sleeve through that. I think I have to wash my jumper now. Whoopsie. Okay, onto my base, my basic white card base. Make sure it's not crooked. That's why I like the glue. I can just wiggle it into place. Okay, I think I'm done with that. I think. And now we're just going to put our little shepherd here, looking up at the star. Now I did do a textured note die here, whereas on this one I just stamped it on a scrap and cut it out. But I think I like the textured note die. Now it's going to sort of sit here or partially on the shepherd, and I am going to use Blackberry Bliss for that. And where's this? There we go. And let me get Peace on Earth. Now if we had our markers, we could colour Prince of Peace, not our Stampin' Write markers that are discontinuing, and not have the Wonderful Counselor. We could just colour Prince of Peace. But I think I'm going to go with Peace on Earth again.
but I'm going to do that so I can get around the counsellor not being spelt correctly for us. And it's got some other beautiful sentiments in it. It's got praying that you will feel the good shepherd's care in this season and throughout the coming year. He heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. That's Psalm 147 verse 3. Peace on earth, Prince of Peace, wonderful Counselor, mighty God, everlasting Father. So, and it's got some stars, some little splatter for stars, little Bethlehem, got this star too, and the shepherd. I think the shepherd is the star of the show on this one. Okay, so let me just ink this up. Now, if you get ink up here, which I quite often do, it can transfer onto your cardstock, especially if you rock. If you rock like that, you will, of course that didn't happen, did it? You will get a shadow. So the key with red rubber is not to rock, because you'll get a shadow quite often. And you can see this one hasn't been cut. I mean, it's cut well, but there's not much red rubber down here. There's more up the top, so you're more inclined to get ink on the top of this one, and that's where it will be a problem if you rock your stamp. So let's just ink it up again. So I haven't got ink, and you get ink there if it's a really, really juicy ink pad. Otherwise, you'd only get ink there if you rocked it on the ink pad. So let's just bring our little textured note die over, and I'm going to try and get it in the middle too, because it's further down. My sticker makes it look like it's in the middle, but it's not, so I've got to remember to put it up a little bit. And they're all things about what I love about photopolymer, because you can see through when you don't have to do any of these adjustments. It is down a little bit, but that's okay. And that is Blackberry Bliss. Doesn't look like it, but it is. See, Blackberry Bliss. Okay, put that one over there. Okay, so now I'm going to put our shepherd up on dimensionals, and I'm going to do that. So let's get some dimensionals happening for him. And I would rather have too many dimensionals on my Christmas card than not enough. I would not want my Christmas card to fall apart for the person getting it. So if you think I'm doing a lot, I possibly am. Okay. Oopsie. And like you wouldn't, if you did other cards like this one, you don't have to fussy cut the shepherd out. If you do it straight onto a card or onto a die cut, that works as well. Let's just pop him there. Now this one, because I just stamped it on a scrap, I then just backed it with some Misty Moonlight. I'm not going to back this one, I'm just going to pop it here. So we'll put one on this end and maybe a little bit of tape here. So let's just, I think that looks all right. A little bit of tape or glue on this end, and then I'm just looking if I've got that straight. I'm just going to bring my head in because I want to get my sentiments straight. There we go. And I really like how, with this particular Thoughtful Journey paper, if you blend ink around the edges, you still have light sort of in the center, which is really cool. Really like it. I don't think I want those. What else do I want to do? Okay, now we could do our basic rhinestones again. So I'm just going to go with them because they are so beautiful. I'm not going to colour them because I think they look like twinkling stars if you leave them as is. And they do take on the colour underneath. They take on the colour of the paper that they're sitting on. So I don't think there's need to colour them. Whereas this one, they're sitting on white, so they would have looked clear. So I coloured them with the Daffodil Delight blend.
Okay, so let me think. Do I want a really large one? Let's go for it. And I'll put that up here too. And then a medium-sized one. I think I need more of these. I might put that down there. And then a little teeny one. I might put that over there. Okay, blend, rhinestones. I must have in your stash. I think I need to add them. I'll keep them out because I'm getting low. Okay, so that is a stamp, a card. Now I am going to get my Wink of Stella, and I am going to, let me put those two away. I don't particularly want Wink of Stella all over the shepherd, so I'm going to just cover him up a little bit. And I'm just going to get my bone folder and just prime it a little bit so that it's coming out. You don't want blobs though, and that sometimes happens. So I'm just tapping it on my bone folder to get a little bit of splatter of sparkle. You can't see it, but I can. And I'm also going to just put a little bit of Wink of Stella on the lamb that's in his arms, because I think he's shining because the star's so bright. And the little lamb's got a little glimmer on him. I think that's the way it should be. Okay, so you can't see the splatter, but it's there, I promise. And certainly the person who receives the card could see that there's a little bit of shimmer. Now, on this card, I've got my instructions. I've stamped the praying that you will feel the Good Shepherd's care in this season and throughout the coming year, and the little Bethlehem down here. So, let me do that, and then we're done. Clean that off. And let's pop that one away. You want to go out, Rosie? Hang on a tick. Let me just let her out. Okay, there we go. Out you go. I can put the shepherd away. Oh no, I think he needs cleaning. What do I want? I want this one. And I always practice with red rubber on my paper because, as I said, sometimes they're not quite cut clearly, and they're not quite cut centered on them, and that's why photopolymer is really good. Photopolymer. Apparently I say that wrong. So let me just open this up, and I'll ink up my little Bethlehem scene and just make sure that's going to be straight. And just, I've got Bethlehem on a hill, that's better, and I want to make sure I don't have it running uphill or downhill. I think that's good. So that was basic grey, and then I've got my Blackberry Bliss again, and I'm going to ink up this. Okay, so I have got some here, so I'm just going to wipe that off there, and I'm going to just stamp it on my paper and make sure I've got it all centered and straight. Okay, so I've got to kick up the praying a little bit because it is a little bit wonky. Let me try that one more time. Kick the praying up. That's better. Okay, and I want to do that where I've just stamped, so let's move on over. And I'm going to, I know I normally don't put my sentiments in the middle, but I am for this one because it's a big one. And I'm going to just kick the praying up so it's straight. There we go. Okay. Let me get rid of that so I don't put my card into it. There we go. I missed the coming a little bit, but not too bad. I could get my Stampin' Write marker and just go over that, which I might do. But how cool is that? And and that just uses the beautiful Thoughtful Journey paper. Isn't it gorgeous? I was so impressed when I saw Frenchie do this. I just thought, wow. And how easy is it? You could certainly mass produce a few of these, you know, in a day or two, and have some of your Christmas cards done. And these were a couple of others that I played with using a sketch. Sketch for that one. And this one I just used beautiful paper, those, what are they called again? Foiled frames and labels ephemera pack. So there we go. There's some cards for us to have a little look and think about. I'll leave my chamois out because I want to clean off those stamps. So let me come back to here, wherever here is. There we go. So it's getting late in the afternoon, so I'm getting in shadows. And I have started tidying kind of over there, so I'm trying to block it because it's a bit of a mess, but I have started. Go me. So that's our card for today, using the Shepherd's Care stamp set from the online exclusive range, the Thoughtful Journey Designer Series paper, also from the online exclusive range. All I can say is go through your papers, especially the scenery paper, and do some blending around the edges and see what you come up with. It's only paper. You can't hurt it. So do have a try. This was my blue one. This is my balmy blue one. And my chair's squeaking. I'll have to get oil on it. And this is my Blackberry Bliss one. So I hope you like that. And as I said, I can't claim it. I saw Francis Martin in America do it last year. So, so I hope everyone's well, and I hope you're having a great start to your week. And I will see you hopefully in person. I do have something on Wednesday, so I'm not quite sure if I'm going to have to pre-record Wednesday as well, but we'll see how we go. But pre-recording's better than not showing up at all. So have a great start to your week, and I will see you on Wednesday for Card and a Cuppa. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye for now.